It is 8:35 on a Thursday morning. KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. And all eyes were on the NFL schedule last night. So everybody in this town was keeping an eye on what exactly the Chiefs were going to be looking at for the 2025 season, as they, of course, look to get back to their Super Bowl winning ways after failing on the three-peat front against the Eagles this past February. Kevin Kietzman, his show Uncanceled, coming up at 10 o'clock, of course, and the podcast, Kevin Kietzman Has Issues. I'm sure more than a deep dive this morning into the Chiefs' schedule that got released last night. Kevin, great to have you here as always, my man. We'll see you soon. And what is the thing that stood out to you, or the things that stood out to you about the schedule for the Chiefs coming up this season?
I guess it's pretty much what any Chiefs fan can see, and that's the NFL is addicted to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
TV networks can't get enough. They can't put them in prime time enough. They want the Chiefs. I think this YouTube deal was negotiated. There were new dollars on this first game of the year, Friday night, supposedly at the Chargers, but it's going to be in Brazil now. That had to be huge money from YouTube to get the Chiefs. They are the brand in American sports today, and I never thought in my entire life, living my whole life here in Kansas City, I would think a sports franchise from Kansas City was the top sports brand in the United States of America and one of the top globally. I can't gauge, Premier League soccer and World Cup and the countries that's important to and whatnot. But I just know the Kansas City Chiefs are right now the NFL. I think you mentioned on your show yesterday that ESPN's doing a documentary on the Chiefs this fall that will be out. This is an era, okay? This is a dynasty. And whether or not the Chiefs win another one, I don't know. But they've already done enough to be remembered as one of the all-time great football teams.
5 of the first 8 games are in prime time. That has never happened before for an NFL team. So what's from a playing perspective, from a football perspective, how much of a downside is that, having all these night games stacked up early in the year, or is it really not that big of a deal?
Well, there's a couple of good things. Like the first game of the season, the Chargers, this is a good deal for the Chiefs. You've got all off season to prepare for it. You don't have to play the road game in L.A. against the Chargers in their stadium. You play them neutral site, and it's quite possible. I mean, this is not, this, Pete. This is not unthinkable. This could be for the division. Like, literally the first game of the year could be to win the division. The Chargers could be that good, and if you go beat them on what would have been their home game, I'm a little surprised the Chargers are allowing this. They didn't tell the league, look, find us somebody else. Find us somebody from the NFC or something. We don't want to play the Chiefs neutral site. I'm really surprised. Normally these international games are not big games. They have almost no meaning to them whatsoever. It's usually like the Giants will play the Jaguars or something like that. And you'll be like, okay, what is that game? It means nothing.
Yeah.
This is a major game on the NFL schedule. It is first out of the gate, and the Chiefs benefit by turning this into a neutral site game instead of a road game. So I like that. Then they allow them, after the extra day of rest, to come home and face the Eagles. The Eagles notoriously are slow starters. They're not nearly as good at the beginning of the year as they are the end of the year. Then you get to go to the Giants and the Jaguars as your next 2 road games. You got to love the way that sets up. What I really like about the schedule beyond the prime time, the Chiefs get up for a lot of those games, is 5 of the last 7 games, when you want to finish strong, are Indianapolis, Dallas, Houston, Tennessee, and Las Vegas. That's not exactly murderer's row in 5 of your last 7 games.
That is, and I felt the same way when I looked at it last night and talked about it earlier this morning. After the bye week is perfectly placed in early mid-November, and then your road trips after the bye week, I mean, you don't have a flight that's longer than Vegas. You've got an hour to Denver, an hour to Dallas, an hour to Nashville. So, and then you've got 4 home games before you wrap up the season in Vegas, week 18. I mean, just from a pure travel perspective, Kevin, with the perfectly placed bye week and a fairly easy, by NFL standards, second half of the year, you got to like that, right, if you're a Chiefs fan right now?
If we look back and said the Chiefs went undefeated after the bye week, would anybody be shocked?
No.
Now, I'm not predicting that because it's the NFL. It's hard. I think at Denver, I'd write that down as a loss right now. So that's the first game after the bye week. But then it's the Colts at the Cowboys, where I think I read 5 of their last 9 Thanksgiving Day games, they got beat by 14 points or more. They're not good on Thanksgiving Day. Houston's coming to Arrowhead. That's usually a win. The Chargers are coming to Arrowhead. That can be a win. At Tennessee, they're reshaping their entire franchise. That'll be mop-up time at the end of their season. Then you get the Broncos at home and at the Raiders after their season is concluded. There's a lot to love after the bye week. A lot.
So you mentioned you like the start of the season with the road trips and the way they stack up. Is it that Detroit, Vegas, Washington stretch that's maybe tricky week 6 to 8, and then you go on the road to Buffalo? But even there, you've got 3 straight home games, and, we know what the Chiefs do at Arrowhead Stadium.
Well, the front half of the schedule is loaded with playoff opponents. You've got the Chargers, the Eagles, the Ravens, the Lions. The Commanders were in the NFC title game. People have forgotten that. Then, of course, the Bills, who many people believe, Pete, going into this season right now, that the Bills will be the best team in football. Eventually, somebody's going to make it to the Super Bowl other than the Chiefs. I know the Bengals did it one year in this run. I don't think people are looking at the Bengals like that anymore, but the Bills haven't been able to do it. Is this their year? That's a big tiebreaker game. We know that, for a potential playoff matchup at Buffalo. That's another one of those games you probably write down. That's a loss. It's going to be really hard for the Chiefs to go win that game, but you never know. I think all the tests are early, and we'll learn a lot about the Chiefs. I think they want drama out of this. I think what the NFL wants, if they were doing anything, if this is not random, if the NFL literally wanted to build something, what they were building is for the Chiefs to come from behind this year. They're trying to set this up to where the Chiefs are a couple of games back of Buffalo, and then they have an opportunity to make a run in the back half of the season, and let's make it dramatic. I think they're tired of the Chiefs running away with things.
I agree with you there. How about that? You mentioned the Dallas game, and this broke early yesterday, but that game on Thanksgiving Day, is this – I know the Chiefs – I thought I heard it reported in the last couple of weeks that the Chiefs wanted to be basically a team that played every Christmas, and the NFL, if I recall, basically said to them, thanks but no thanks, at least for now. But as they get into all these holiday games, Thanksgiving and Christmas this year – is there anything that Clark Hunt is, you think, angling for beyond just trying to leverage the Mahomes, Andy Reid, Travis Kelce era? Do you think he wants to be in that Dallas Cowboys model of, an America's team for years to come? And can they pull that off?
He does, and a lot of this, I think, is their deep faith, their Christianity. I think they revere Christmas. They think, and football has been part of their life. I don't think they have any problem at all. Some families do. Right, some really traditional families are like, okay, it's Christmas. We shouldn't be watching football. It's Christmas. That's not the Hunts. Obviously, both of those things are very important to them. One of the things we'd have to look at is, did the NFL make a mistake many, many, many decades ago by allowing the Cowboys and the Lions to each play at home on Thanksgiving? Pete, how many Lions games in your lifetime on Thanksgiving Day have you fallen asleep to after eating turkey? Or it was the early game and you didn't even turn it on because they stunk so bad?
Yeah.
The Chiefs are great now. But if you give the Chiefs Christmas forever, there's going to be a time that the Chiefs stink, and then you're stuck with them. I'm not sure it's the right thing to do.
No, I'm with you there. So do you think that the NFL in hindsight regrets that move with this Thanksgiving Day deal? The Cowboys still do very well in the ratings, no matter how bad they are. It's just that Lions game, you're right. I mean, most people have checked it out, and they're maybe eating early to try to finish up dinner by the time the Cowboys kick off.
Yeah, well, they're lucky now because the Lions are good. They have a good team down there, really exciting to watch. So it's worked out better in recent years. The Cowboys have fallen a little bit. They had a nice playoff run, a series of years where they made the playoffs or had winning records, but they don't seem to be very good right now. There's a third game on Thanksgiving Day. That's changed it. They can do all kinds of matchups that they want on Thanksgiving to provide something that maybe the other teams don't provide. I just think there's some hesitation of allowing the Chiefs to say, okay, we're America's Christmas Day team. We will always play on Christmas, because there will be a day when nobody cares to watch the Chiefs. Right now, everybody wants to watch to root against them.
Yeah, no, you're right. Last thing, Kevin, you might have missed it last hour, but Quentin Lucas gave you some props on the show. Did you hear this, or do we have to play it back for you when you get here to the station?
I heard it. He was great, Mayor Q, today. Last week he sounded a little defeated with some of the things that were going on in the city, but he couldn't have sounded better today. And I'll just tease my monologue for the show today from the old movie clip. I'll have what she's having. I'll have what he's having, because he basically just told you the Royals are staying in Kansas City. The Chiefs are refurbishing Arrowhead. That's that.
Yeah.
He just flat out said it. I'm talking to people. It's done. It's over. I'm like, wait, everything has failed so far in Missouri, and every vote has been hell no. Not just no, but hell no. Like the Missouri Senate walked out 2 days early and said, we ain't doing this. They just walked out on it. So that's my opening monologue today. I just want what he's having. He's so optimistic, and he gave you credit as well, the entire operation at KCMO Talk Radio, for our accuracy and truth-telling in reporting on this topic over the last several weeks. And I applaud Mayor Lucas for doing that. That's not an easy thing probably for him, a thing for him to do. I appreciate him doing that. And I've got new respect for him, not just because of what he said today, but some of the things that have happened over the last few weeks. I think he's been really honest and open, and I like that. I don't have any problem with him going to Qatar and all this other stuff. He's not paying for that, whatever. I'm not nitpicky on these things. I just don't know what he knows that we don't know about these teams, because right now I see nothing but dead ends in Missouri.
Yeah, well, that's a good tease for the monologue coming up at 10 o'clock, my man. We'll be here. We'll be listening, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, buddy. See you shortly.
Right, there you go. Kevin Kietzman on KCMO Talk Radio. Uncanceled coming up at 10 o'clock.